Hey guys, sorry this is so late. I meant to go to an afternoon screening. Something happened with my movie pass, and the afternoon screening that was supposed to be there for some reason was not listed. In fact, my movie pass app seemed to think that it was still Friday, and so I had to go to an evening showing instead of Tomb Raider. And yeah, obviously this is going to be so late now that this was originally going to be coming out before the Nova review. It is instead going to be coming out after the Nova review. So yeah, it's kind of in that week too, because I wasn't able to get my my Marvel Netflix catch up out either. Just everything I got into a big crunch, and it just didn't shake out that way, unfortunately. I guess I should also point out too, as we go into the film here, I have never played any of the Tomb Raider games. They kind of passed me by. Admittedly, when they did the reboot that this film is based on, I was intrigued. Unfortunately, it's like time and finances just never quite coincided, and then there was this online aspect, and I didn't really want to get into that. And anyway. Also, I saw one of the Angelina Jolie movies. I can't remember which one. Daniel Craig was in it. Actually, it wasn't even all of it. It was like half of the movie, and I was so bored. I honestly don't remember much of it at all, except again that Daniel Craig was in it. Anyway, the story is basically the Lara Croft origin in this one. She goes out, well, her father, what's her father's name again? Richard, yeah, sorry. Richard Croft starts the film by talking about this Japanese queen, Himiko, that could wield dark magic, and that she was buried on an island called Yamatai in the Devil's Sea. And it's so dangerous to try to get to this island, but he feels the need to do this because of something involving Laura's mother and the fact that she died. I never really understood at all. His exact reasoning for this. Basically, he disappeared while doing this, and when we see him leaving the first time, Laura's like, looks like she's about, I'd say 6 or 7 years old. And then it says 7 years later. He's been missing for 7 years. And it's like, Alicia Vikander is not 14 and nowhere near 14. And so something's going on here. But they do kind of rectify this later. They do show the actual scene where he left to go to Yamatai. Except, in that case, Laura was more, I'd say about 13-ish. So, okay, that does work a little bit better. Anyway, Laura's basically rejected her inheritance. She does like odd jobs. She's a delivery courier for a snack shop. She trains in MMA, and apparently she's also part of some like cyclist club or something, because there's this goofy bet that she gets put on to try to earn money so she can pay for her MMA lessons. Yeah, it really doesn't go anywhere except she winds up getting arrested. Her guardian, who's named Ann Miller, basically tells her, like, look, you could lose everything here. You're rejecting your inheritance, and your family's home where you grew up could go away, and that's enough to kind of get her back into this. As part of finally signing up for her inheritance, she's given a puzzle that she manages to solve, and she finds a key. The key has a riddle with it, and basically this leads to Richard's secret basement, where again he was doing all his research on Himiko, and basically she finds a videotape from him, and it says, destroy my stuff. Don't even try to come after me, which of course means she comes after him. She goes to Hong Kong and to find her father. She tries to track down the boat that he rented. She finds the son of the man who owned the boat, and it turns out he has the same name. And I'm not even joking when I say this, he's basically the Chinese male Lara Croft. And again, the movie itself, I'll say this right now, the movie itself, while it is faithful to the reboot game that came out, it's maybe a little too faithful, because all it feels like is the cutscenes interspersed with footage of someone playing the game correctly, so that Laura doesn't suffer one of the hilariously gruesome deaths in it. Anyway, as Laura eventually talks to this guy into trying to sail to Yamatai, she looks up her father's notes and manages to pinpoint the island. She continues to read the notes, including hearing of the Order of Trinity, an organization bent on ruling the world, of course. And like I said, the Order of Trinity was sort of had been tracking Richard's actions. Don't know if necessarily was stalking him, but of course we get a twist in this. Basically, as the boat gets close to the island, this white squall whips up, tosses the boat around. Laura gets thrown overboard. She gets basically washed on shore, and she immediately winds up being taken hostage by basically the Trinity, and its subordinate on the island by the name of Vogel, who says he killed Laura's father and took her notes. Or took the notes that he had. So he's able to discern the location of the tomb. Laura and Lou, that's the captain of the boat, try an escape plan. Lou should be dead. Should have really died early on in this film. There's 2 points. There's the point he gets thrown over the boat, and there's a point where he gets shot. And in both cases, he should have been killed. But he doesn't. Like I said, he runs interference for Laura to try an escape plan, so it leads to the big waterfall scene with the downed plane, and then she has to walk across the broken wing or get thrown over the edge of the waterfall. I'll say this too with the action sequences. There are times when they're okay. When they're not doing any overly elaborate effects, they're fine. But again, like, the plane sequence is okay, but it lasts like way too long. They were way too concerned about action. They didn't stop to just take time and breathe and build some of these characters up. Like Vogel, he is just painfully one note. He has a decent enough angle where he's been on the island 7 years. He really does not give a flying you-know-what anymore. And he just wants to get home to his kids. Okay, good. Can we build on that? No, it's just that. And he's basically giving the biggest no-shit performance in this thing. Anyway, one of Vogel's lackeys comes after Laura. She fights him off. She kills him. And she sees this person scrounging through the jungle, and she realizes that this is her father. He was alive, he faked his death, and they have a reunion, but then she points out that Vogel has the notes, and he basically is really disappointed in her. Said, look, I told you to destroy them, you shouldn't have come after me. Like, if they open the tomb, like, all this black magic or something will come out and destroy the world. Anyway, Laura says, well, let's work to take them down. Let's work to stop it. It's like, we're 2 people fighting, a decent-sized group. But Laura basically takes things into her own hands. She takes the bow and arrow. She starts going after it. She frees a small cadre of prisoners. Yeah, they have all these prisoners that are slaves that are working for them. Lou is one of them. Like I said, she frees them, and they free up a few more, and they take a few more out. She gets Vogel's satellite phone so she can call for help if need be. As this is happening, Richard is trying to get into the... basically, he's trying to get to the tomb, possibly to get in and destroy it or something. But Vogel managed to surprise him, and Laura basically, in exchange for her father's life, opens the tomb. They go inside. There's a whole bunch of booby traps. The like I said, yeah, at this point it kind of goes by the book if you haven't figured it out. But they do find Himiko's sarcophagus, and it turns out that no, she didn't do this because she was forced. Or this wasn't evil. She wasn't malicious. She was actually kind, because it turns out she had been infected with some like super version of the bubonic plague, and yeah, she went into hiding to save the rest of the world. And that's basically it right there. And let's just a sec here. Basically, it comes down again to Laura, Vogel, and Richard. And Richard accidentally winds up getting infected with the plague as well. So he basically stays behind to blow the tomb up and prevent the plague from getting out. But Vogel snips off a piece of the body's finger. They open the sarcophagus, and it's a perfectly preserved body, and then it just crumbles to dust. He said, see, like I said, there's nothing special here. Anyway, Laura eventually fights off Vogel, kills him. He gets infected with the plague and falls down a cliff. And Laura and her freed slaves basically overtake the Trinity copter that came to pick them up, so they get free ride home. She returns home and finally, formally claims her inheritance, signs the papers, but doesn't fire Anne because he said, I think you're better suited to run the day-to-day operations of this. And suddenly Anne says thank you, and she pieces her. And Laura just takes a brief look through some things and finds some of the companies, and it turns out one of them is the company that was the front for Trinity. And basically the big reveal is Anne is probably the head of Trinity, and they'll probably be fighting again. So Laura goes to Nick Frost's pawn shop that she was in earlier that really served no purpose at all, and buys her guns, and that's how the film ends. Yeah. I will say this, on the good side of the film, Dominic West as Richard Croft is very good. Alicia Vikander is spot-on casting. She works. Some of the action sequences are okay. The guy who plays Vogel, like I said, starts out fine, but unfortunately the character is so flat that even he can't save it. Other than that, though, it's really boring film, unfortunately. I don't know if it made me angry enough as, say, Den of Thieves or Peter Rabbit. Well, Peter Rabbit didn't make me that angry anyway, but yeah, I can't say it was necessarily as bad as those. There were some interesting ideas. They just did not follow through on them very well at all. They just, like I said, it's just action sequence after action sequence and not taking time to just breathe and develop these people a little bit more so that they actually feel like they're important. I mean, other than Laura, she's the only character that gets any form of development. So, yeah, I'm going to give Tomb Raider a D.
Sunday, it's the season premiere of the award-winning 60 Minutes. Then a special 90-minute preview. 7 brothers and 1 new bride are fighting to save the home they love. There's action, adventure, romance, and music. 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, a special preview right after 60 Minutes Sunday. It was the story that captured the imagination of the world. The girl who stole the heart of a prince. Join an all-star cast for the royal romance of Charles and Diana Monday.
Okay, so trailer time, and unfortunately we really don't have too much to talk about here. This was at the AMC theater, so we got some TV trailer before this, and that's A Series of Unfortunate Events Season 2 on Netflix. That was kind of the only one we got. Then we got Solo, a Star Wars story again. Then we got Uncle Drew. I think I talked about that back when I saw, was it Black Panther? Yeah, okay, anyway, Uncle Drew again. Then A Quiet Place again. At least that comes out in a few weeks, so I'll be able to maybe talk about a different trailer at some point. Then we got Venom again. Then we got basically our one new trailer, and that was Rampage. Although the funny thing is, they had the wrong release date. They're still listing April 20th, when I believe it's been bumped back to April 13th. And then we have Ready Player One again. So yeah. Let's see. Hopefully I can get back to the Marvel Netflix catch-ups. I don't know if I'll do 2 this week, but I think I'll at least get one out this week. The next movie will be Pacific Rim Uprising, and we're not getting any wrestling until WrestleMania weekend, which is until April. So, obviously the next Random Trade review will be The Flash, The Human Race. I'm just starting that out on that right now. So, see you all next time. Hey guys, is there a movie you want me to tackle? Even if it's some stinker like Baywatch or the Emoji Movie or something else? Check out my Patreon at Sleepy Time for Cat Productions. See how you can make that happen.